Morning, guys. So it's a beautiful day here on the farm. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. The sun is out, and today, guys, I'll be sharing with you some of the habits a farmer, mostly in the case a poultry farmer, has to observe in order to have a successful harvest when raising poultry. So remember, habits are the everyday observations or activities one has to just carry out in order to have or accomplish a certain task. It's been a while since I showed you the chickens that I'm raising, so let's get into it. So, guys, before you do that, we must have your gumboots on, as you can see. I've mine right here, and then you have a disinfectant right here. So we just step in it. Now, remember, I didn't put one outside because of the rains. So it's supposed to be right there. So right there in the distance, you see. But because of the rains, the water gets diluted quickly when it rains, because this is a rainy season, so the water gets diluted quickly, and that means you'll be wasting a lot of disinfectant. So this is the disinfectant we are using. So look at that. It's a BioSafe. So it has a number of instructions at the back on just the liter to use, the directions for use, as you can see that. So when you're using a food dip, as you can see, or a cowel dip, so you put 2 tablespoonfuls in 1 liter of water, you see, and then there are other directions for use. So biosecurity is important, guys, for controlling diseases. You see, the disinfectant actually kills bacteria and all that germs. So just observe this. I want to close that. Okay. So that biosecurity was the first thing, guys. Now, second thing, we want to look at the arrangement of the barn, guys. So look at this. We have these 2 columns. It is arranged in a column. You see, all the way to that section. So we have chickens in this column, and then the next column. Now that is to ease movement of the chickens and you as the one who's giving out the feeds. You see, so we have 2 columns here. The chickens are feeding on this side and on this side. Now in the middle, you can see some blocks there, which we use to place water, because we don't have automatic drinkers here yet. So we use those blocks. We place our drinkers on top of those blocks. So that's for ease movement. So when the chicken is done feeding from this side, it moves to the middle, you see, to drink. So it's a quick movement for that. That also helps you to move quickly, as you can see. So I can just move nicely here without distracting the chickens, you see. So without distracting their movement and their feeding. So you see, so it's neatly arranged just to facilitate easy movement like that. So this being the 15th week, guys, you can hear some I don't know, is it cackling or croaking sounds, so from the chickens. So which means they're about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 maybe. This should be the 18th week. That's when they start laying. Some start maybe at 17th week. So we should be expecting our first egg, let's say, in the next 3 weeks. So the third thing, guys, you want to look at, so is the feed distribution. So when you are distributing feeds in the barn like this, as you can see mine, we have feeders here. These are just plastic feeders, as you can see. I don't think it's clear. And then we also have these are actually wooden feeders, although some of the chicken can just move that. So you can see these are the wooden feeders, you can see. So they are long. These are preferably good to just feed a number of chickens at once, as opposed to the round ones. Now I also have a long one here. This one is very long. You see, it's from that side all the way to that side. It's occupying, now this one's feeding, these are more than 50. As you can see, just from this one end to the other, it's feeding more than, you see, 50 chickens just at once. See, and then you also have another one. So feed distribution is important, just to ensure that each chicken gets the feed, you see. And then we have also these plastic cuttings here. That's not very clear. but we have that, and then we have the other ones on the other side, I think right there, and then the other one just on the edges of the house or towards the walls. We have that, so we have those feeders there. So those are just plastic cut-offs which you use to place some of the extra, just for extra feeding. See, now we use that because it's easy to wash. Also have another one here, just as a plastic, you see. So you want to make sure that each of the chickens, you see, the number of chickens, it could it be 1,000, you see, 500. It has access to the feeds, you see, at the same time. So as you can observe clearly, guys, you can see the chickens, moving to the drinkers to drink as they go back. See, once it's done drinking, it goes back. Look at that. So once they're done drinking with the water, the food is really dry, and it's best to give them dry matter or dry feeds. That's just to promote the drinking of water, guys, so for easier digestion, you see. So as you can observe, you can see the chickens are drinking, and then at the same time they are feeding. So that's very important. Now the other thing we want to look at is lighting, guys. Now you can observe I have some extra light here because the room is a bit dark. Just I think on this side it's a bit dark, you can see, so that's why you have extra lighting. It's daytime, as you can see. They're feeding. There's a lot of light on this side, but that's okay. But on this side it's a bit dark, so we have some extra lighting there. Now you want to observe the lighting conditions starting from the rearing period all the way from day one. So from this table, as you can see, you're supposed to increase the lighting, or rather reduce lighting, you see, week by week, as you can see. So from 0 to 7 days, you can see it's 22 hours, you see, of light. So you're supposed to give the chicks 22 hours of light, you see, just to enable them to feed a lot, give them extra time to feed, you see, gain more energy. They grow faster within the first week. So they need a lot of time at that particular period. So as you can see, as the days proceed to increase, you see the lighting hours are reducing, you see, all the way to 14 hours and then 10 hours, you see, after 3 months, as you can see. So this lighting is important because photo simulation is a very important factor when the chickens start laying. So photostimulation means the chickens, you see, they have exposure to a longer period of time of light in this case. Therefore, the chickens start maturing faster. You see, the eggs start forming faster. Now, this is just a trigger effect. It's a physiological effect because the chicken will develop faster and therefore start laying earlier. You may find the chicken laying at way more than expected period. You see, the 18th week. So for 16th, 15th, or 17th week, you see. Now, the problem with that is that you may find, because the vent of the chicken is very small or not fully developed at that time, you will find you are having problems with things like prolapse, which means the vent or of the chicken, it comes out when it's pushing out the egg. So that's a very big problem because it may lead to death if not observed. Now that's the problem. Now imagine if these chickens, which are 15 weeks, they start laying. Just observe that. Now they are big in size, as you can see, but the vent is not fully developed. Remember, the most of the sex organs of the chickens develop fully for the last 10 days, you see, towards laying. So maybe from the 16th or 17th week, you will find that most of the sexual organs of the chicken are developing faster at that particular time. So it takes 10 days for them to develop well at that time. So if that time has not arrived, you see, you have not yet gotten to that time, and then the chickens start laying earlier than expected, you will have to face the problem of prolapse, so which is a very deadly condition. So lighting is very important. It's important that you give the chickens, at this point you are giving them 12 hours of light, you see, just from 6 all the way to 7 in the evening. Should that be 12 or 13? I think 13. So from 6 when they wake up all the way to 7 when it's dark. So we switch off the lights to give them extra extra or enough time to rest also. Now, the other important habit, guys, you want to observe on your farm is the vaccination, which I already talked about. I made several videos. If you go through this channel, you'll find many videos of how to carry out certain vaccinations, fowlpox, Newcastle, all that. So you want to make sure that you be on schedule when it comes to vaccination to prevent disease. It's a very important part of the rearing period. So vaccination is very crucial. You want to observe all those dates. You want to observe the specific vaccine that's supposed to be given. You want to observe, everything. Every vaccine, you make sure it's of high quality, it's given at the right time. It's very important, time and quality for when it comes to those two. You want to make sure that the vaccine is given at the right time. So that, these chickens are a bit scared. I think this is the first time they're seeing camera. Okay. So you want to make sure that the vaccine is given at the right time, you see, to the right positions. If it's drinking water, you make sure you mix it well with the right amount of water. If it's through vaccine, it's through intracellular vaccination or wing stabs, you make sure it's well observed and you have all those tools that you need for that particular exercise. And lastly, guys, we talked about biosecurity, but people rarely talk about the physical security of the farm. So I don't know if you can see that from that distance. You can see, is it very clear? Let me see. So let me just move closer to show you how physically secure the structure should be or is. So mostly you want to use material that is easily ventilated. So for instance, we have this is a mesh wire. You see, you can observe that these are mesh wire, tiny holes. Now this one is to prevent thieves or birds from entering the barn. You see, so it's a mesh wire. It's very small. You can see that. So that one, even cockroaches can't enter through that. You see, even small birds. So you see, it's very secure like that. Now, so you have to put in such systems to ensure that your birds are safe. You see, you don't want to put in all this effort and then you have to buy feeds. You buy drinkers, all this. You put in all of this money and all this effort, all this time. You see, in this kind of investment, and then you end up, somebody just ends up stealing your flock. You see. So you have to observe the physical security. It's a very important factor that people may ignore. Some people ignore. I've heard stories of, somebody's flock getting stolen. You see, all of them getting stolen just in one night. So you have to observe that. It's very important, especially when you're starting out. You have very little capital. You see, in your pocket, you have very little capital. You have to observe the physical security of the structures to make sure you see, this is a business. You are waiting for returns. At the end of a certain period, you are expecting some returns from this particular business. So you have to make sure that your flock is secure physically from thieves, guys. So make sure you secure your structures, guys. Very important. So that's it for, if you observe whatever I mentioned, a number, those 5 or 6 or 7, those are habits, guys. These are things we observe every day or every day of the laying of the rearing period. So could be weekly, could be daily, especially with the feeds. Those are daily. Arrangement of the farm, that's daily. You see, look at that. The arrangement, it's something you do daily. Feeders be getting washed. So you have to, these are the habits that we observe daily or weekly or monthly, just to ensure that we have a successful poultry business. So that's it, guys, for this week, guys. This being week 15th. Next week should be the 16th week. You see. Thanks for watching. If you find these content informative or interesting, you may prefer to subscribe to the channel or like the video or share it, you see, with your friends. so that you spread this information.